betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Friday's here, the weekend's here. Dan, locked and loaded, massive show today.
Dude, absolutely. One of my favorite shows of the week is here, Andy, not just because it is we're heading into the weekend, but we actually have like football. You know what I mean? Football Fridays are truly back now. They've been a little bit of a tease with the NFL preseason, but we got college football, week 0, week 1, whatever the hell you want to call it. Actual college football games are happening tonight or this weekend, excuse me. If you want FCS, they are happening tonight. But we'll see what Gianni's saying in the action there. Andy, we do have your Wager Talk Today play of the day coming your way here in just a moment. We got Gianni, we got Teddy, we got Marco, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers over-under win total. We are absolutely loaded, Andy. And we start it all a minute in with the play of the day that now sits at 52 and 40, brother. Let's make it 53 here today.
So the Mystics, again, ladder play hits. Again, they were -3.5. They win by 7. They play tonight, Dan, and I was like, do I tempt the gambling gods by trying to hit 3 plays on the Washington Mystics in a row? But I'm not. But we're going to stick with WNBA. We've been riding really hot in WNBA this week, so why not? We'll break down all the NFL preseason games, but let's go for the Fever over 97.5 on their team total. This is a monster team total, but they are playing the putrid Connecticut Sun. Dan, they are 17.5-point favorites tonight. So they might cover that. They probably do. But this is a nice game for the Fever. They have not played since August 23rd. They've been on the road. This is their first home game since August 14th. What a great spot for a pumped-up crowd. I told you guys earlier, I think somebody got in Caitlin Clark's ear. She's been complaining a lot less. And what's happened? Her stats have gone through the roof. The offense looks great. They love scoring big points against bad teams. They put up 113 against the Sky, 101 against the Tempo, 112 against the Fire, 105 against the Storm. And Dan, just a few weeks ago, they hung 123 on this Connecticut Sun team. This is a game to pad those stats. Fever, go up and over 97.5. That's your play of the day.
Wow, I like it. We had people in the comments telling us, hey, don't forget about those Fever team totals, 97.5 up and over. And Andy, correct me if I'm wrong here. As it is a football Friday, Teddy Covers is going to talk Bengals-Eagles, a game that I will be attending, and he will also be breaking down Vikings and Broncos. So in lieu of a news and notes, Andy, you want to run down the rest of the NFL board? What do you think?
Let's do it, man. I've got breakdowns. Let's just say Teddy's are going to be a little bit more comprehensive than these quick takes, but let's go for it. Falcons play the Dolphins. I like the Falcons -3.5. The Dolphins have been truly awful. They've lost 2 preseason games by a combined score of 46-10. Falcons -3.5. Texans and Panthers. Panthers little dog money line. Both teams' reserves are bad, but the Texans have been outscored 44-3 after the first quarter in preseason. Their starters are good. Backups, not so much. Buccaneers and the Jags, little sprinkle on Jags +2.5. They've been running the ball really well in joint practices. That's what I've been reading. The reserves of both these teams are not great, so the value's on the getting the points. Jets and the Giants under 36.5. The defense looked much better for the Jets last week. They shut out the Steelers. Giants D held opponents to 13 and 3 points. Give me the under there. Cowboys and Saints. Cowboys -3. RJ has been talking all week about how banged up the Saints are, and the hits just keep coming for them. Cowboys have a quarterback battle for the backup spot, so expect some spirited quarterback play from the Cowboys. Here's your ladder play of the day. Here's your ladder play. Now, I'm not going to recommend NFL preseason much, but you got a Saints team that doesn't want anything to do with this game, and the Cowboys, they're going to let their quarterbacks try and show off. Cardinals, Packers, got to take the over 36.5, riding the overs for the Cardinals. 63, 41, and 47, the totals for the Cardinals. Seahawks, Chiefs. If ever there was a game where neither team gave a flying F about it, this is the game under 36.5. Seahawks games have scored 24 and 35. Same with the Chiefs, 32 and 31. Give me the under. That's your NFL preseason breakdown.
Ooh, Andy dialed in, circling back to the play of the day. Brian, thank you for being a Wager Talk Insider. This is a great time if you want to check it out. WT.buzz/insiders. Get early access to all these videos so you can get them before the line moves. You were saying our play of the day, we're looking at Fever over 97.5. Any thoughts on the first half over? They start off strong, Andy, or we're fine with the game total?
I didn't look at it. I have no opinion. I'll just stay in my lane. That I researched the full game. That's where I'm at. Argus is Caitlin Clark, double, plus 120. I don't hate it. She'll get there with assists, probably, not rebounds. But listen, if the Fever are going to score 100 points, she's got a really good shot of getting to 10 assists. So agree with it completely. So coming off a weird day yesterday, Dan, early in the day, the gambling gods are looking down upon us. We had Gary Woodland over JJ Spawn in the Tour Championship. This is a full tourney play. Gary Woodland goes out, plays well. JJ Spawn plays a few holes, hurts his shoulder, and withdraws. So cash it. Cash it. 6 holes into the tournament. We're looking good. We had a big play in NFL last night, and we lose it by the hook. We had the over 38.5 in the Rams-Chargers game. What we were talking earlier, it wasn't the hook that was annoying.
No, it wasn't like, bad beat by the hook. It was the way that we got there, Andy.
We had 2nd and goal on the 1 yard line, and we got no points. We had a missed field goal at halftime, and it wasn't a 70-yarder. This was a makeable field goal. And then we go the last 13 minutes of the game without a point. We had many, many opportunities. I thought the handicap was spot on. Herbert plays a couple series and gets a quick touchdown, and I thought we were off and running. But any one of those goes our way, we cash it, but that is just how it works. So no crying over spilled milk because we're back in play with a 4% preseason play tonight. So no time to cry here. So let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, sadly, the Thursday hammer didn't get there. Our problem was we used too reputable of a handicapper. We got to go back to the trash. The trash heap. Like we got to get on.
That's where we find the real gold, man.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You got to go to those that already tell you they have inside information. Those are the best.
There's a lot of them.
I know
14
a guy.
followers.
I know a guy that knows a guy.
I don't know if we'll get to UFC towards the end here. Did you see we had the double weight miss? Two fighters in the same fight missed weight. So they were just like, penalties offset, replay first down. You guys are still going to fight. It was the
wow. I know because I've been doing, and there's so much football with NFL, college football. I said, you know what? I already went through the UFC card, released that 5%. I'm going to go through it again because it's early, in Shanghai. So I figure I'm going to work on that early evening. And I was going to look at the weigh-ins. So now I know there 2 of them missed weight and they're going to fight it anyway. Good for them.
Yeah. Why not? So, all right. Well, you mentioned football. We got loaded preseason tonight. We got college football. So let's start with NFL. What are you seeing from your end?
Yeah, busy day in NFL. I'm coming off a nice 2-0 sweep on the 4% best bets in the NFL preseason. We lost our 3%, but turned a nice profit overall. Already released a 4% for tonight. That package is up for NFL preseason. I have 4 strong leans that I'm working on confirming, so more will be added to that package. But here's what we're looking at. Busy day of sports, busy weekend of sports. In NFL preseason tonight, 109 Washington, plus 4.5 down to plus 3.5. 113 Atlanta, laid the 3, laid the 4. 115 Tampa Bay, pick minus 1.5, minus 2. That's when another group came in and took Jacksonville, game 116. Jacksonville plus 3.5. So we have Tampa Bay, pick them minus 1.5 over here. Jacksonville plus 3.5 on the other side. Now 119 Cincinnati, they took the key number of 3 out. Then they took the 2.5s and 1.5s as well and steamed that game under 38.5. Now, Kansas City and Seattle, they could not get enough of this under. They went under 36.5, under 35.5. These were 1% moves on limit bets and then down to 34.5. So we got a 2-point move on the total that didn't take all that much money. Keep that in mind with this preseason. And make sure you check your odds logic screen. Are they moving in half-point increments or in full-point increments? A lot of times, that'll give you an idea of just the amount of risk they have on the other side and what exactly they're trying to do. 126, the Green Bay Packers, plus the 3, plus 2.5, plus 1.5, plus 1. So they like Green Bay at plus. 127, Minnesota, plus a touchdown, went through that key number, took it all the way down to plus 6. And finally, the under 39.5, Minnesota, Denver. Caution on a lot of these totals, especially on some of these that the first hits under, first hits over. I'm seeing a lot of buybacks the other way late, which obviously is a middle opportunity. So keep an eye on that. A lot of late total action coming back the other way, because as I mentioned, going through that steam read, there is a lot of 1-point line movements, which means they weren't able to get a lot down. So 2 limit bets and that total is adjusted 2 points. You're not moving a lot of money. So what happens is that's when you get the head fakes, the manipulations, get out ahead of the public, get the line moving significantly, then come back later in the day when you could hit those shops that are off screen. Because I'm looking at a lot of my off-screen books. Some don't even have all of the preseason games listed yet. Like, they're very cautious because they know it's sharps versus the books. Again, it's NFL, so you do get heavy public money affecting these lines, but it's not the regular season yet. So they're still moving a lot on sharp action, unlike in regular season where they will have so much liquidity. There's a lot of risk the other way from the public, so they don't have to move as significantly. Preseason, that's not the case. They don't want to get overloaded by sharp money. That's ahead of the information, so they're going to move it significantly and stop other sharps from doing that. That opens them up to middles, but it seems they're more comfortable with middles possibilities than too much risk on a particular side. So that's what we're seeing so far in NFL preseason. Real quickly, in college football, it's all for tomorrow because these FCS games, lines just move too significantly. And once again, we get good two-way action. I did release a 4% tonight. It was just a big play. I gave it out on the Steam sheet with a bunch of other college football, CFL, WNBA, NHL, NFL preseason, forgive me, Major League Baseball. So there's a ton of action today and this weekend. Make sure you check out Bet On It. I went through a lot of the sharp action for week 0 and week 1 on Bet On It. So, again, just a lot of action, bro. A lot of action.
Well, I will tell you. So I don't know if you heard, I did quick hits on the preseason tonight. And I literally did this about an hour ago. I said under on the Seahawks and Chiefs, 36.5. Right now on DraftKings, it's 33.5. It's moved 3 points in the last hour and 15 minutes. So that is significant. That is, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, no surprise, preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk UFC here a little bit. We got Shanghai. Weigh-ins are through. 2 fighters missed weight. Thankfully, they're fighting each other. There's some horrible fighters on this card, Gianni. I mean, horrible fighters. They pull some of these. They pull some of these just bottom of the barrel guys for these Asian cards. I don't really get it. What are you seeing from your end?
And that's why you're getting such one-sided action. And here's what I mean by that. I'm looking at the back end, and you're already getting public action on these fights because it's they're fighting late tonight, more or less. And what they're doing is they're betting the favorites again. Like last week, we did get 9 favorites, 4 dogs. We're starting to see a little bit of that, more dog action, but it hasn't stopped the public from betting these same size. Kai Asakura is in every single parlay. Every single parlay, Asakura is on there. Hassan, every single parlay, Hassan is on there. Like these 2 names hasn't missed a single public parlay. Slow down, jackpot. And and Soroya, Ray Soroya, he's going to get money as well. Lou, I'm going to give you 4 names. Lui, that's Lou, Soroya, Hassan, and Asakura. Those 4 fighters are on every parlay. And in the case of Lou, you're seeing that line's not moving in her direction. In fact, you're seeing it move the other way. So sharp money on the Hector Santiago side. Elsewhere, you're seeing some movement like Taruya to moving from 650 to 750. That's not a move. That's nothing. That's a 1%, 2% move in implied win probability. Like they're bringing them out so jacked up, Andy, that they're not even adjusting them. Kaya Sakura, he opened minus 410, 415. Now he's up to 430, 440. Not big move on the implied win probability. So they're telling you, we're jacked these favorites up. We're getting hit with them. And you know what? We're not going to let the sharps come in and take the dogs at such a plus EV opportunity like happened to them last week, because they took some plus money beatings, believe it or not. The public lost all their parlays, but they got a lot of that plus money that came in late that cost them. And you're seeing this week, they're not so quick to go from minus 400 to minus 900, minus 350 to minus 550. They're moving a lot slower. That is what sticks out to me the most on this card, that it's so one-sided, public betting the same exact 4, 5, 6 fighters, and yet the sports books aren't panicking. They're not rushing to try to attract money on the other side, to try to get the sharps excited about taking a plus 400 that shouldn't be plus 400. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out tomorrow, because then moving forward, they'll have to adjust, readjust, or continue that if it works out for them. But yeah, that's all I'm seeing. Again, little value in some of these dogs. My 5% is a dog. That line's still readily available. And I don't think you should be afraid to pick on some of these dogs. Again, do I think a minus 600 Umar's going to win? Yeah, he's going to win. But should Umar be a minus 600 over Song Yadong? Absolutely not. I mean, Yadong's a tough guy. Again, he's not going to win any title. He's not winning a championship, but he's a top 5 guy that could, give you problems any night. And even when he loses, other than Corey Sandhagen in 2022, he takes you the whole distance. He's going to go 3-5 rounds. He did it with Peter Yan. He did it with O'Malley. Like, he's not an easy out. He did it with Kyler Phillips. Like, you're not beating this guy easy. So to be a minus 600 to me is just absolutely makes no sense. But again, Umar's going to go in there, get the win, but he's not a closer either. Look at him. He hasn't had a finish since 2023. He's just been a decision machine. So do you really want to be holding your breath? Again, he could be dominant and control and more damage, but do you want to be waiting for the judges to read the decision on a minus
over
6
there? Over there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No way.
Exactly.
No way. No way.
You're sharp. You're thinking along those same lines. Sure, he's probably going to win this fight. Sure, he should win this fight, but there's absolutely no way I'd ever bet it and hold my breath throughout that decision.
Yeah, I'll go with the dogs I like. I think Song Yadong is live for it. Umar can be really boring. Song can be really exciting. Of course, I like Gomes. I think she's live. I'll tell you the one that I think's gonna. This Silu, this kickboxer guy, he's horrible. He can't wrestle. He can't stop a takedown. Now, Levi Rodriguez is awful as well, but a kickboxer who can't stop a takedown, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. So that guy is absolutely live. I think this Nilson Rojas is live to beat Bilal Hassan. You play minus 750 because the guy's 9-0 because he beat some scrub on Contender Series. This Rojas, he's 9-0. He can knock anybody out. I think he's live for a dog. And then Hector Santiago's live. And even in the first fight, Cameron Nelson, we have a saying, don't fade shit with shit. You're not laying minus 155 on Meng Ding. You're out of your mind. So I think there's going to be a lot of dogs barking on this one. So.
With the road to the UFC guys being this chalky, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They're terrible. A lot of them are terrible. So let's touch on WNBA and MLB. I don't believe I've ever seen lines like this in the WNBA. Literally tonight, we have a minus 17.5, a minus 12.5, and a minus 13.5. I don't know what to do with that. What do we do with MLB, though? Surely there's MLB action.
MLB, here's what we got. I'll give you the because there's like 15 plays in this team sheet, I'll give the ones that I asterisk that I agree with most. 961 Boston plus 160 down to plus 150. 968 Minnesota minus 105, minus 110, and the under 9 in White Sox, Minnesota. 970 under 10 Baltimore, Oakland. 972 Detroit plus 200, plus 190, plus 180. And then 974 the New York Mets plus 115 all the way to plus 105. That's why they have flipped to favorite. Quickly, WNBA action. All three totals under. They went under in Connecticut, Indiana, under in Portland, Atlanta, under in Toronto and Vegas. The only side that I saw was Toronto plus 15.5, 15 and 14.5. I did see them take Toronto overnights or real early morning. Otherwise, it's just been the unders and a quick hit. Like the only one I saw follow through was the Connecticut, Indiana, where they followed through next morning or after the adjustment.
On the under?
Yep.
Well, they better hope Fever have an off night shooting. Fever could put up 120 all by themselves. I'm on the Fever on the team total over. So, all right, busy day, busy weekend. What do you have up for everybody?
All right, we got tonight. I have my Steam sheet up with a 4% in college football, and it has a lot of information, preseason, WNBA, MLB, all that good stuff, and I'll continue to add. I have my NFL package up for preseason tonight with 4%. It's coming off a 2-0 sweep of the 4% preseason plays last night. My Shanghai card for the UFC is up with a 5% live dog in there already released. More plays will be added throughout this evening. And of course, I have Saturday's college football week 0 card up. Number 1 in profit 2 of the last 3 years in college football. If you're betting football this season, you want to know what we're betting. I promise you, it's not going to be a waste of your, especially if you're coming to the steam room, where I'll be able to give you our line for any matchup you want. So a lot of good stuff, busy couple weeks, months ahead, forgive me. Jump on board, make it easy, and let's continue doing damage throughout this football season.
Absolutely. Gianni the Greek getting our Friday show started. Appreciate you, Gianni. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, brother.
Coming off the frustrating NFL loss, but Dan, there's so many games tonight. We got a 4% best bet that's up in that. We've got a 4% college play. We got a 4% UFC play. We've got a soccer play in the morning. So a lot going on there. So that's over at WagerTalk.com. My plays are at wt.buzz/AL. I know a lot of you got the buy 3 days, get 3 free. So let's ride off to a good weekend. We got a 4% auto racing play that is going up. Didn't think we would have auto racing this weekend, but we are.
If it comes, it comes, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Line is ridiculous. This is the night. There's a lot of good things about football, but from our perspective, getting some of these lines that the books are not paying attention to.
That's a great point.
That's the honeypot. That's the honeypot. So, all right. Speaking of honeypots, Teddy Covers is here.
What a segue!
It's the stupidest segue we've ever done on the show. Hi, Teddy.
I've been called worse.
How we
Just
doing,
ask
Teddy?
customer support.
Yeah, good point.
Happy Friday. How are you?
I've been better. Like I said, I've been called worse. Last night wasn't good. 0-2 for the clients last night. And when that happens, you come in the next day and you're like, we got business to take care of. So we got business to take care of today.
Well, I mean, no time like it, Teddy. Let's get right to business, brother, and let's talk some games here. We were joking before when we were going on air here. I'm going to this game here tonight, and I said to Teddy, Teddy, do we have any clue who's playing in this game? Like, should I be excited? Am I just driving down there for nothing? And we arrived at not much information to be found, but the Eagles are 2.5-point favorites again here in the preseason, Teddy, despite being 2.5-point favorites in their first 2 games with no wins to show for it. 36.5, Teddy. How are we breaking down this one?
And I just went through some numbers. Okay, so Dogs last night went 4-0 ATS in the 4 preseason games. Last week, underdogs of +2 or higher. We're taking out the 1s and 1.5s, but anything close +2 or higher. Underdogs 8-3 ATS. Week 1, underdogs of +2 or higher, 10-2 ATS. If you've been laying points this preseason, you haven't done well. The information tends to point towards one team cares and one team doesn't, which says lay points with this team against that team. So far this season, And really last year too, that didn't work and still hasn't worked. So sometimes we talked about it, Dan, when they're in the preseason, if you've got nothing, sometimes you got something in an environment where the underdogs continue to get the money. Now, for Philly, Andy Dalton's started both the preseason games. Don't expect him to go tonight. In fact, the rumor is he's on the trading block. Tanner McKee expected to get ample playing time. McKee had a pair of touchdown passes last week. He looked pretty good, but it wasn't a scenario for Philadelphia where there's any urgency. And if you look at the Eagles, they've been favored twice in the preseason this year. They're 0-2 straight up, 0-2 against the spread. Last year, Philly went 2-1 straight up and against the spread in August under Sirianni. That being said, the underdog won all 3 games in outright fashion. So that's 0-5 straight up for the underdogs in Philadelphia Eagles preseason games over the last 2 years. I know, by the way, in 2024, the dogs went 2-1 straight up and ATS. So dog in preseason games have done very well over the last few seasons, including so far this year. And again, when there's no info that says point you this way, point you that way, well, maybe it's the right betting strategy in these situations is just to take the underdog. Now, Cincinnati has not been a good preseason team. In fact, they're 2-0 this preseason right now. Zach Taylor was hired in 2019. This is the first time the Bengals have won 2 preseason games in his tenure. So to say he doesn't care, he doesn't care. We're not going to see any Bengal starters here. We're not going to see any Eagles starters here. Sean Clifford, Josh Johnson combined for 282 passing yards, 3 touchdowns last week. Haven't heard definitively that that's the duo again this week. Nonetheless, I could only lead towards Cincy here, plus the points. I don't want favorites unless there's a reason to back a favorite. And even when there's been a reason, it hasn't played out real well so far this preseason. So lean Cincy, and of course in a matchup with a whole lot of backup QBs, leaning under in this one as well.
Well, Teddy, it sounds like the most exciting part of my evening going down for this game will be whatever cheesesteak I get. So now we know Eagles, Bengals. Best bet is whatever is on the dinner menu. Teddy, before we talk Vikings and Broncos, let's talk about what you have up tonight. Because suffice to say, probably you don't have as big of a feel in that Eagles-Bengals game as you do for the client play you have rocking here tonight in bounce back mode. What can folks find over at your page, Teddy?
Yeah, I got a single best bet in MLB for tonight. I got a single best bet in NFL for tonight. We're going to talk about that NFL bet in just a moment. But really, don't buy a play. If you want to get on board, what do you buy 3 days, get 3 free? All right. That to me is this. Like, if you're going to buy a play, do that. If you want to partner up, promo code Teddy50. It's going to get you $50 off my NFL full season package. Just visit the website, WagerTalk.com. Check out my homepage, w.buzz/TC. And that gets you every NFL play right through the Super Bowl. There's nothing more to buy. There's no nonsense. Teddy50 at checkout. Take $50 off.
WT.buzz/TC. Like Teddy said, that buy 3, get 3 days free. That is expiring in just 3 days from now, guys. End of August, that's done. If you want to get them, you can get them now. You can get them for any capper that you want. You can stack them if you want and get multiple all-access pass. You pay for 3, you get an extra 3 free. Grab the action for this weekend and into next week from Teddy Covers, WT.buzz/TC. All right, Teddy, you alluded to maybe have a little bit more vibe in this game. We'll talk Vikings and Broncos here. The just bet on Broncos, right? Last week, finally it came to bite people if they were just blindly, you got to play the Broncos, lay the big points with the Broncos. You listened in last week, Teddy told you not so fast. Are you thinking the same here tonight as they're taking on the Vikings, or is this price finally moving into a range we can actually back the Denver Broncos, Teddy?
So the money's come for Minnesota in this ball game. There were 4.5s out there, and there was a big sharp move towards the Vikings. And it came after Kevin O'Connell had his press conference on Wednesday. And that press conference on Wednesday, if you watched it, you know exactly who watched it. I watched it. I read the transcript. But the key for the coach's pressers, all right? When a coach tells you he's interested in the preseason, he's interested. And the quotes from O'Connell were basically like, in the preseason's past, week 3, the finale, most of the guys that are going to play aren't going to make the roster. He's like, that's not going to be the case this year. Minnesota had a no-show last week in Baltimore. They have a legitimate competition for the backup QB job, whether it's Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy obviously last week had a rough outing and got hurt. He sat practice yesterday. He's expected to go today along with Wentz, and that's a pretty good 1-2 duo for a preseason finale in the quarterback position. And Max Brosmer is supposed to get some playing time in the second half as well. But the level of urgency from O'Connell in that press conference was palpable. It's the team, didn't start, last year was a disaster, started, but they started 4-9 last year, 4-8, and then they won the last 5. There's urgency for Minnesota right now. There's urgency for Minnesota tonight. And while Peyton certainly has an impressive track record with Denver and dating back to New Orleans, Peyton's been a bet-on head coach in August. It all comes down to quarterback rotations. And we got Sam Ehlinger and Jarrett Stidham once again. A good duo, but a duo that combined for a grand total of, a field goal last week. It wasn't, it's not like they're giving the money to Denver automatically before the games are played. And it's not like the Broncos have a pushover this time around. So you put those factors together. In this bettor's opinion, I think Minnesota is a live underdog tonight. I've got some Vikings in my pocket. I've advised my clients to make that same bet.
Barking dog here tonight to end the NFL preseason. Great breakdown by you, Teddy. We talked about what you have over at your page, wt.buzz/TC. We talked about a lot of those offers. What we didn't talk about is how people should be starting their NFL week. And that is live with the opening line report every single Monday morning, Teddy. They can get on the right side of some of these line moves. Now, next week, what we're going to do is do a little Q&A for the folks. So you can drop the comments below in this or drop them on the comments of that video or join us live and give us comments. But then comes week 1, Teddy, and the opening line report and the emergency betting alerts maybe won't be coming as often in week 1 since these lines have been out for what feels like a year. But tell the folks about the show and what we have coming up this season. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and of course, I didn't talk about college football at all. We are locked and loaded with a single best bet for Saturday in week 0. Last year, I won my week 0 play by 4 scores, looking for a similar result this time around. WT.buzz/TC. And of course, the NFL opening line report. We've been doing this. I've been doing this for the better part of the last 25 years. The goal is Monday morning, know what actually happened the day before and understand where the lines are likely to move. The goal is act early, get your information early, and be prepared for the week. This show does that. Every Monday, live, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. If you watch it live, you're ready to go for the next week before noon every Monday.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Teddy, best of luck on that play tonight. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll see you next week. Football Friday in full effect, my friend.
I can't wait. Cheers.
Appreciate you. Teddy covers WT.buzz/TC. Also a great follow. Teddy_covers over at your favorite social media site.
So Teddy liked the points with the Vikings, right?
Yes, that was the breakdown. Yes.
And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
I was going to drop it. I was going to drop that one too. I was waiting for that. That's my dog drop. People get it's like if you check out Bet On It, and Bet On It week 0 is up now. A lot of folks in the comments, I don't know if Kelly has him brainwashed or what. Sometimes when we talk about a dog that's like 3.5 points, they're like, that's not a barking dog. It's like, bro, if there's a plus next to the name, it's a dog. And over a field goal in football is a big enough dog, man. I know
that's a big dog.
Marco knows because we hear it all the time. Marco comes on, he's like, hey, I got a live dog for you, 3.5 points. Kelly's like, that's just a Chihuahua. And Marco's like, you want me to pick 17.5 point dogs every week? Brutal.
Chihuahua's still a dog. Last time I checked. Lovely dog. Yeah. Lovely dog at times. All right. Well, let's bring on Marco. And Marco, keep your head up high.
Size doesn't matter, Marco.
Keep your head up when people.
The moral of the story is you're never going to make a woman happy. Okay. All right. Wow. There's 3 things you can count on. death, taxes, and you're not going to make a woman happy. And throw in, you're not going to make the trolls happy either. You're always going to have trolls.
Very good point.
So
Very good.
it is what it is. We just got to do our thing and just keep our nose to the grindstone and try to grind out winners.
All right,
No matter.
let's grind out some winners, and then after we're going to break down the Steelers over under 8.5 win totals. But Marco, we're going to talk about college football, and this is truly one of the most annoying things, in my opinion, in all of sports. I need to make a list of one of the most annoying things. Referring to it as week 0 is truly one of the dumbest things. I
hate it.
What is a week 0? What is a week 0? This is the first week. It's week 1 or it's nothing. It's not a week 0.
Make it. How about week 1A? Like we'll do a couple of entry,
0.
like in horse racing. Okay, let's go that route. But let me ask you, which is more annoying? Calling this week 0 or get to the final game of the NFL season and us not allowed to say Super Bowl? We got to call it the big game.
It's a good point.
No, that's
a good point.
Week zero is just it really rubs me the wrong way. Marco,
does it even exist? Is week 0 is the week 0 in the room with us, Andy? We'll never know.
Marco, if you eat 0 wings,
it's probably still hungry.
First of all, that ain't ever happening.
Yeah,
in this lifetime.
That truly is something that doesn't exist, Andy. Even more than week 0 is Marco eating 0 wings. That definitely doesn't exist.
All right. Well, let's talk a couple games here. We're going to do NC State, Virginia, and then Memphis, UNLV. Let's talk NC State, Virginia. For me, this is NC State has continuity at quarterback position with C.J. Bailey returning. Virginia's got a lot of new players here. You're going to attack the first half with the under. Tell us why.
Yeah, you obviously, you talk about Virginia and they got a lot of, rebuilding to do. They're coming off their best season last year in a long time. 11-3, went to the ACC championship game. And NC State, though, beat them last year. And NC State has had their number. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings. They're 5-2 against the spread in those games. The Virginia side, they had the success. Now you got to bring in a new quarterback. They're bringing in the Missouri quarterback, Bo Prelula. And, he came in last year when he got his chance at Missouri. Come in, I think, after an injury. First few games were pretty good, and there was a lot of buzz, and then he tailed off at the end of the season. So now he transfers over here to Virginia. You're going to have some growing pains. There's no question about that. As you said, NC State's bringing back their quarterback, C.J. Bailey, who had a great year last year. So you would expect continuity better on the NC State side as far as the quarterbacks go. But if you look at the NC State losses from last year, personnel-wise, he lost his 3 top receivers, an All-American or an All-ACC tight end. So, it's not going to be an instant fix. I think there's going to be growing pains on both teams. What the Missouri quarterback does bring to Virginia is he is a dual threat quarterback. He can run the football. And the strength of this Virginia offense is going to be that offensive line. So I think you're going to see them try to run the football early to establish, and set up the running game for later. And then with NC State and all of the losses they had personnel-wise to skill players, I think they're going to have a little bit of growing pains as well. What's all that add up to? Well, it adds up to an under. Now, if you look at this game and you look at where the number opened on this game and where it sits now, there has been some serious money come in on the under, and I think it's sucked some of the value out for the full game. But I'm going to go ahead and look at the first half because, as I said, this is going to be, I think, tight, filling things out. And I'll tell you something else. I got a stat for you, and this one's courtesy of Stat Daddy Ralph Michaels. When you have 2 conference foes match up in a season opener, which doesn't happen a lot. You go back since 2015, the record is for the under in this situation, 26-11-1. Obviously, it's a, conference matchup. You play a little tighter to the vest, to get things started. It is the first game of the season. So I'm going to go ahead. I do like under the full game, but I think some of the value is sucked out. I'm going to go first half under 26.5.
All right, Marco likes the under in the NC State Virginia game. Marco, we have some people asking about the horses. You got a video up that breaks this down in detail, though, correct?
In absolute detail. We went through the field of 10. I gave you my thoughts on all 10 horses. So I know you guys, love the big races, and because it is week 0 and there's not a lot of good action in college football this week, I had a chance to break the Travers down in detail. So check that video out. And of course, on my package that we're selling for Saturday, which has a 5% college futures bet in there, I am going to put all of my Saturday plays in there. So you're going to get college football that I have on Saturday, that 5% futures play, any baseball, any WNBA, and you will have my actual betting selections for the Travers, how I am betting it. But I do give you the full detail in that video. Check it out on our YouTube channel.
All right, WT.buzz/MD. Get 5% best bet. You get the horses, you get college football, and much, much more. That's over at Marco's page. All right, Memphis, UNLV. I can't believe the coach came out and said this. Are they really going to play 2 quarterbacks in this game? That's what he announced. And if so, I'm out. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a situation where, you say things too. You do put up smoke screens. Maybe you are going to play 2, but one is going to get the majority of the snaps. But what it does is causes defenses and defensive coordinators to have to prepare for both. I'm looking at this game, and for me, what has happened with UNLV the last few years now, this is going to be year 2 with Coach Mullen taking over. He inherited a program that Barry Odom absolutely turned around, and then Barry Odom ran to Purdue, and how'd that work out last year? But when you have success, you're a program like UNLV that, you're not in a marquee conference, and you get a player that does well, what's going to happen? He's going to go somewhere else where he's going to get more money. And that's what's happened 3 years in a row with their starting quarterback. So you've got to break in a new quarterback, again, whichever quarterback that it's going, to be. And then you look at the situation with Memphis. They've got some wholesale changes as well. A new head coach comes in, Charles Huff, third team in 3 years. Head coaching wise for Mr. Huff. And usually that's not a good thing. If you have 3 different jobs in 3 different years, that probably means you got fired. No, he's moving around because he's doing well at all the programs, and he's improving them, and he keeps stepping up the ladder. So I do like this. They've brought a lot of players in, and a lot of people are, there's wholesale changes at Memphis. Well, you know what? That's today's college football. When a coach changes addresses, he brings a lot of players with him. So that gives him a little bit of a jump start, at the new program. I think this is a spot where UNLV, their Achilles heel has been the last several years. It's not been offense. They always seem to find their way offensively, but it's been defensively. And I don't want to lay points with a defense that was as bad as UNLV's was last year. Now, the good news is they lost 8 people from that defense last year. So, you already had a bad defense. Is it the glass half full or half empty that they're all gone? We don't know. And until they show me they can stop somebody, I can't lay points with UNLV. I'm on Memphis here. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think it'll go, down to the wire. I've got Memphis actually winning the game outright 24-23. And that's where I'm at on this one, guys.
Come on, Marco. Defensive coordinator. You got to prepare for 2. Oh, you got to prepare for not one awful quarterback, but two awful quarterbacks. Oh no! What
So
are we supposed to do?
You love the saying that if you have got two quarterbacks, you've got no quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've yet to see this work. I've yet to see this work. Oh no, two bad quarterbacks to prepare for. It's like when they added the lime flavor to like Bud Light. It was like, oh, took the shittiest beer and made it shittier. What a great marketing idea.
And it tastes like cleaning solution. Now we really have a good beer.
Have a real lime. Let's add a chemical flavored lime in there. All right.
That's a great point.
A team that does not have two quarterbacks. Well, they got two quarterbacks, but one's going to be starting is your Pittsburgh Steelers, Marco. So every day at the end of the show, we do a future, and Fridays are viewer suggestions. They asked us to do the Pittsburgh Steelers. So naturally on Football Friday, since you're here, we got to get your opinion on your Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll let you go first. Dan and I have our notes, but where do you stand on your team this year?
Guys, normally I have a definitive answer when it comes to, my Steelers heading into a season, but I'm going to be honest with you. I've been back and forth all over the place with the Steelers this year. I don't know exactly what to expect. And here's the problem. Offensively, I think they're going to be better. You went out and you got, Michael Pittman Jr. to complement DK Metcalf. That gives them two legitimate wide receivers, which, as we know in the NFL, you've got, a strong number one. He's going to draw the double teams and so forth. And you need that number two that, is a big play guy. Well, the Steelers really didn't have that last year. So now Aaron Rodgers has two targets that he can work with. I think that's going to be good for spreading the field. What I also think that's going to do is going to open up things from the tight end position. And a lot of times, we use the phrase addition by subtraction. The subtraction is tight end Smith is gone. Okay. I just don't know why he was there. I wasn't a fan of him. Took a lot of reps away from Freiermuth, who I really like. I think they're going to be better without him, and Freiermuth will be better. Also, though, the one thing that concerns me on the Steeler offense, and I think they're going to miss him deeply, is I don't like Gainwell moving on to another team. Gainwell was that player last year. It was him and Warren in the backfield, but Gainwell gave you so much out of the backfield catching the football. And in the second half of the season, he became one of Rodgers' favorite, safety valves, and he made big plays. He's going to be sorely missed. The question for me is the defense, is if it's going to hold up. Obviously, anytime you talk about the defense, it starts with TJ Watt. He's got to be on the field all season. When he gets hurt, this defense suffers tremendously. They made some additions to try to strengthen the defense this year, and we will see how that goes. But here's where I'm at. That season win total at 8.5, okay? That's the magic number for the Pittsburgh Steelers for, what was it, like 17 years with Coach Tomlin. He never had a losing season. And I think, unfortunately for Mike McCarthy, that is going to be the measuring stick for him. And everybody is going to compare him to Mike Tomlin. And if he doesn't reach that 8.5 and keep that streak going, that's going to be deemed as, a failure. I can tell you this much. A lot of things that I have heard out of training camp where players make comments about things that they are doing differently. It's almost like some of the players are making references to it's totally opposite of the way that Mike Tomlin was handling things. So there is maybe a sense of excitement with the new coach. I know there's a sense of excitement with the fans of Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh is a blue-collar town. And when you look at Mike McCarthy, he is what, you would look at as a blue-collar head coach, okay? He's not flashy. He's going to come to work, do his job, and being a Pittsburgh native doesn't hurt him. But with all that said, sorry, Pittsburgh fans, I'm going under 8.5 wins. I just think if Baltimore and Cincinnati avoid injuries, and especially Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, they're going to dominate the division, and it's going to hurt the Steelers to get to that 9th win that they're going to need. And if they do hit the under, I hope they hit the under by a lot, because the one thing that has hurt the Pittsburgh Steelers, where everybody wants to sing the praises of Coach Tomlin of always, not having a losing season. The problem of having 9 and 8 years and 10 and 7 years is it puts you in the middle of the NFL draft, and you're not going to find your franchise quarterback. Pure and simple.
Well, they already have their franchise quarterback. They have Drew Allen. What do you mean, Mark? They have Drew Allen. You don't need to find any franchise quarterback. Come on, man.
Where'd you land at, Dan?
So I'm glad that Marco went first, because I'm seeing this the same way that he is. Marco, you love yourself a sandwich, and I think what is going to determine do they go over or under this number, because I think it's a really well set number. The sandwich at the end of the year where you have Ravens, Panthers, Titans, and then Ravens. It's a double sandwich. It's a double stacker. We got a little BLT club sandwich there, because if they can sweep those 2 games against Panthers and Titans and steal one of the game off the Ravens, they go over this number. I'm just not so sure what they'll look like at this point of the year. Is TJ Watt injured at that point of the year?
Yes.
Does the defense fall apart? Do the wheels fall off? They're going to give you some hope to start the season, but it's going to be the back half of this schedule where the more winnable games are that determine do they go over or under. So I'm with Marco. I can find 8 wins on this schedule if things break. Hard for me to find 9. So, and you have the Aaron Rodgers factor. That's, when does this guy fall off the cliff? You could argue he already has and still came up the cliff, took some ayahuasca, fell down the cliff again, came back on up. So for me, it can only be under, unfortunately. As a Pennsylvania guy, they're my team on the other side of the state. But as far as first year for Mike McCarthy, they're fighting an uphill battle, Andy. What do you think?
Well, to answer your question, the only way TJ Watt is not hurt at the end of the season is if he's coming back from the injury that he got in the first part of the season.
That's a good point.
So it's interesting, Dan. I looked at this schedule and I took it away. I took a little bit different. I think the Steelers better get their wins early because it's doable. Atlanta in week 1, Atlanta's a dumpster fire. Cleveland twice. The Colts, who I think are going to struggle. They get Tampa and New Orleans, so a couple of NFC South teams. That division may be pretty bad. They do have Cincy and New England, and then you get the bye, and I think it gets tough. You got at Cincy, at Philly, Denver and Houston coming to town, at Jacksonville, Pittsburgh going down to Florida in December. Those normally don't. It's a brutal schedule in the second half. So I'm looking at the Steelers as one of my favorite teams to make a bet in season on their win total, depending on what I want to see them get off to a really good start. PFF ranks their offensive line 14th, the defensive line 3rd. That's like the story of the Steelers for the past 40 years. My big thing why I'm taking that under is this is the oldest roster in the league. They have the oldest average age of players. So I see 7 or 8 wins. I just can't. It's that second half of the schedule that's just like, man, brutal teams like Denver and Houston coming to town. Then you got to go to at Cincy, at Jacksonville, at Philly. Tough schedule. I think the schedule got pretty unlucky for your Steelers there, Marco.
No, I agree with you. And again, being in the same division as Baltimore and Cincinnati, it does not, help. Cleveland helps. That helps. But yeah, the other two, I think you're going to be looking at Baltimore and Cincinnati in a 2-horse race. Again, unless Joe Burrow gets hurt, and that's always a possibility. We've seen it too often in the last few years. But if the offensive line can do anything for him, as I said on our preview show on Bet On It, I think Cincinnati can go a long way this year.
Well, Andy, with all three of us agreeing on the under, we'll have to clip this one. We'll put it up as a solo video so then all the Steelers fans can comment below and be like, all three of these guys said the under. All three. So it's like on ESPN when everybody picks the same team to win and then they put up the graphic, just fade them. Comment below and let us know because this will be a standalone video. We're all thinking under for the Steelers, even Mr. Steeler.
Yeah. To double back to the beginning of the show when you said Marco eats 0 wings, if I go to Pittsburgh and you post that video, no bar is going to serve me wings. Okay.
That's awesome. One more time. What do you have up? You got horse racing, you got college football, you got a big Saturday, Marco.
Oh, big Saturday, but I've got a big Friday yet here today too. When I get off from you guys, we got to do the deli. The deli will have some football this week because it is week 0, and we'll have talk some football on there as well. And the rest of the way, it will be football driven on the deli. It was fun doing the WNBA all summer long. It gave us, and you guys, I know I get a lot of flack for it, but the viewers do watch it, and they are betting it, and they are making money with it. As we are number 1 in the WNBA the last 4 years, and for the football season as we head in, guys, I'm going to have a package up today. I will have an NFL preseason game. We have only had 4 plays during the preseason this year so far. Perfect 4-0. So we are going to look to go to 5-0 with our NFL preseason. I'm going to put everything up in one package today. You'll get any WNBA and baseball along with that in today's package. And heading into this football season, nice way to head into it on a 4-0 run. In the last 2 years, college and pro combined in football, we are number 2 in money won at WagerTalk. So, the consistency season, year in, year out, whatever the sport is, that's something I'm very proud of, for my clients, and, jump on board. There's a lot of offers going on. We're running that 3-day buy 3, get 3 free. That is going away, guys. You only got a couple days left to jump on that. Great way to start opening weekend of college football. This week, grab 3 days for $69. You'll get 3 bonus days, and that'll include every single play we have over that 6-day period for you. So why sweat it? Just get all of the plays that way.
Love it. Marco D'Angelo. It's Football Friday from now until, my God, super, like we got like 6-7 months of February. This is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Marco. Appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks, Marco.
All right. Great show. Great week of shows, guys. The chat crushes like always. Thank you to all the guests. And football season is absolutely here. So starting next week, we are going to be football heavy. Drop a comment below. Tell us who you like this weekend. Looking for some good college football picks. I have 2 same-game parlay videos that are up in football. It was tough this summer trying to do same-game parlays in MLB and WNBA. But I got to tell you, we had a lot of fun. We got a great record on that show. So from now on, moving forward, we're going to have same-game parlays in college football and NFL. So if you have FanDuel, DraftKings, telling you, the same-game parlays may not be the best odds, but I walk you through how we can make money on these games. So we get the TCU North Carolina game that's up, and we actually got the Stanford game that's up. So those are at the YouTube channel right now. All right, big weekend for clients. 4% best bet goes off tonight in NFL. 4% UFC. Technically is tomorrow. It's just early tomorrow morning with UFC Shanghai. So you want a 6-day pass, it's half price, $69. Jump on board, become an all-access client. Thanks very much, guys. Good luck on your bets. Have a big weekend. Dan, have fun at the Eagles game. Have fun at the museum. Tell your brother we said happy birthday. Good luck on all your bets, guys. We'll see everyone on Monday.
Absolutely. And Andy, before we shut things down, start you off with the WagerTalk Today play of the day. We'll end you with the gold sheet play of the day. And if you want the same game parlay, check it out. WT.buzz/AL. You can find the link to find Andy's same game parlays there. But real quick for you, Stanford, we're laying the points according to Gold Sheet. And they're saying third time that these teams have met in 4 years. Last season, Hawaii gets that 23-20 win. And while Hawaii won last year, let's be real. It wasn't like they were the better team. Stanford held the ball for over 36 minutes. They win the possession battle. They win the first down battle. They had more rushing yards, but it just didn't work out for him. Now, Andrew Luck, he goes out, finds a new head coach. He gets Tavita Pritchard, he's returned to his alma mater here. And it's not a full rebuild that he's inheriting. Stanford bringing back 12 starters, 60% of their production from last year's squad. And Andy, it basically boils down to this. Everything went Hawaii's way last year, and it still went down to the wire. So let's take Stanford to start the Pritchard era off with a win. We're comfortable laying the 3.5. I'm seeing some 4s, some 4.5s out there, Andy. At 4.5, maybe we start hopping out, but 3.5, lay it with the Cardinal. You want more breakdowns like that? WT.buzz/GS is where you can find the gold sheet. Andy, we're laying it with Stanford.
All right, Landon with Stanford. We'll see everyone same time, same place on Monday. Have a great